Hello everyone! Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the Buyid Dynasty, a group that left a significant mark on Iranian and Iraqi history. So, who were the Buyids? Well, the Buyid Dynasty was a powerful Shia dynasty with roots in Daylamite Iran. They came into the spotlight around 934 and held power until 1062. What's interesting about them is that, unlike many other dynasties of their time, the Buyids weren't just about military conquest, they were deeply connected to the rich history and culture of ancient Persia. The story starts with Ali ibn Buya, who in 934 seized control of Fars and made Shiraz his capital. He wasn't just any ruler, he was honored with the title Imad al-Dawla, which means fortifier of the state. His brothers weren't far behind. Hassan captured Ray, another key city, and was named Rukn al-Dawla, or Pillar of the State. Then there's Ahmad, the youngest, who took over Iraq and Baghdad, earning the title Mu'izz al-Dawla, or Strengthener of the State. The Buyids were unique in how they consciously revived the symbols and traditions of the Sasanian Empire, which was a major influence in ancient Iran. They even adopted the title Shah, meaning King of Kings, a nod to the grand rulers of the past. They showed their respect for this history by having inscriptions carved at Persepolis, a site they believed was built by the mythical Iranian king Jamshid. Under one of their most notable rulers, Khosrow, better known by his title Adud al-Dawla, the Buyid dynasty reached its peak. He was known for his open-mindedness and ambitious building projects, like the Bandemir Dam near Shiraz. At its height, the Buyid realm stretched from the Byzantine border in Syria all the way to the edges of Khorasan in the east. Now, despite their Shia roots, the Buyids were surprisingly supportive of the Sunni Abbasid caliphs and were known for their tolerance of the Sunni population, who made up the majority of their empire. However, they didn't get along too well with the Fatimid Caliphate in Egypt, who were Ismaili Shias, showing that political alliances and religious affiliations were complex and often conflicting. As for the cultural and religious landscape of their realm, it was quite diverse. The Buyids ruled over many Zoroastrians and Christians, and because of this, records from their time were written in multiple languages, including Middle Persian, Syriac, and Arabic. So how did it all begin? The story of the Buyids is one of rising from modest origins. The dynasty traces its roots back to Khosrow, a Zoroastrian from Daylam. His son Buya, originally a fisherman, converted to Islam and had three sons, Ahmad, Ali, and Hassan, who would go on to establish the Buyid kingdom together. And now let's dive into the Buyid dynasty's government structure. The Buyids didn't rule as a single centralized state, but instead established a confederation across Iraq and western Iran. They created three main principalities, each with its own capital. Fars, with Shiraz as the heart of power, Jibal, where Ray served as the center, and Iraq, governed from Baghdad. Over time, as the dynasty grew and evolved, additional principalities emerged within this confederation. What's fascinating is that the succession was hereditary, with rulers passing down their lands to their sons, creating a patchwork of territories governed by different members of the Buyid family. The Buyid rulers held the title of Amir, which translates to governor or prince. Among them, one Amir would often be acknowledged as the most senior, earning the title Amir al-Umara, meaning the senior Amir. However, this title was more symbolic than anything, as the senior Amir rarely had real control outside his own domain. Each Amir enjoyed significant autonomy, ruling their territories with considerable independence. Some of the more powerful Amirs even adopted the ancient Sassanid title of Shah, meaning King of Kings, alongside other titles like Malik, or King. When it came to the military, the Buyids initially relied on their fellow Daylamites, a tough and battle-hardened people with a long history of military service dating back to the Sasanian era. The Daylamites, known for their resilience in battle, typically fought as foot soldiers, armed with swords, shields, and spears. They were particularly famous for their nearly impenetrable shield formations. However, as the Buyid territories expanded, they began to incorporate Turks into their cavalry. The Turks had already established a reputation as skilled horsemen in the Abbasid military. The Buyid army also included Kurds, with the Daylamites generally favoring Shia Islam, while the Turks and Kurds were Sunni Muslims. This mix sometimes led to tensions within the army, particularly between the Daylamites and Turks, who often vied for dominance. To maintain loyalty and compensate their soldiers, the Buyid emirs often distributed iqta, essentially the rights to collect a portion of tax revenues from a province. Payment in kind was also common. Interestingly, while the Turks were more favored in Iraq, the Daylamites held more influence in Iran. Culturally, the Buyids were distinct from their predecessors, the Samanids, in their approach to language. While the Samanids had embraced Dari, or New Persian, the Buyids continued to use Arabic as the main language of their realm, although Middle Persian was occasionally used at court. This preference for Arabic might have been influenced by their time in Baghdad, or possibly due to the Zoroastrian priests in regions like Fars, who still wrote in Middle Persian. Despite this, New Persian remained prominent in poetry at the Buyid courts, with many notable poets choosing to write in this language. However, some influential figures like the Persian vizier Sahib ibn Abbad preferred Arabic for official correspondence, even though they accepted New Persian poetry dedicated to them. Under the Buyids, there was also a resurgence of interest in Iran's pre-Islamic heritage. This was evident in their naming traditions, celebrations, and identity. While the first generation of Buyid rulers had Arabic names, the subsequent generation adopted distinctly Iranian names. They even went as far as to carve inscriptions at the ancient Achaemenid ruins of Persepolis, reflecting their veneration of Iran's pre-Islamic past. Festivals like Sadeh, Mehrigan, and Nowruz were celebrated, with Nowruz serving as a model for new festivals created by al-Dawla. In terms of religion, the Buyids were primarily Shia Muslims, though they may have started as Zaydis before transitioning to Twelverism. This shift made political sense for them, as Twelverism, with its occulted imam, was a more politically viable option. Despite their Shia identity, the Buyids were relatively tolerant and pragmatic in their religious policies, often appointing Christians to high offices to avoid sectarian tensions between Shia and Sunni Muslims. Lastly, the Buyids had a penchant for large-scale construction and engineering projects, especially during the reign of al-Dawla. These projects, such as irrigation systems and agricultural developments, boosted the economy and attracted people to cities like Baghdad. al-Dawla's reign saw significant urban development, with Shiraz becoming so crowded that a new quarter had to be created. His influence extended to other cities as well, where he initiated restoration projects and revamped ancient towns, emphasizing his claim to Sasanian ancestry. So the Buyids were not just rulers, they were builders, military strategists, and cultural patrons, who left a lasting impact on the regions they governed.